Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sarah Palmyra and I love chatting about skincare, makeup, and clean beauty. For those of you who don't know, I'm also on TikTok and I recently had a TikTok video kind of blow up, much more than I was expecting, and so I know I have some new faces probably from there, so hello, welcome, hope you stick around. Today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to chat to you about some of the products that I've picked up from The Ordinary recently, and I kind of wanted to clear up some confusion. I personally find The Ordinary's website overwhelming, and I know a lot of you guys do too, and I think it's because their products are usually based on one ingredient only, and there's a lot of layering and customization that can go on, but that can be really stressful and confusing. There are some rules, so I'm here to break down the products that I have in my collection and tell you about the ingredients and the application, who they're for, who they're not for, and my thoughts on them so that hopefully you can figure out how to best incorporate some of these products into your routine. So I'm super excited to let you know all of my thoughts. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first ingredient and product I want to talk to you about is Squalane, and specifically the Squalane Cleanser by The Ordinary. So what is squalane? Squalane is a lipid that is found in our skin's sebum. Our skin's sebum is basically our natural oils that kind of help to keep the skin balanced and moisturized. Now, squalane can be a kind of confusing ingredient. There are two different kinds of names out there. There's squalane and then there's squalene. Now, squalene is more unstable. Brands have kind of transformed the ingredient to squalane, which is much more stable and therefore bioavailable, and it's something that your skin registers as its own natural oils. Now, another topic about squalane that is really confusing for some people is that squalane in years past used to be sourced from shark liver, which is pretty horrible. It was a really horrible practice, and in recent years a lot of brands have transitioned to sourcing their squalane from plant-based ingredients. I know, for example, that the Ordinary Squalane Cleanser is sourced from olives, so that's really awesome. I believe the base is an olive oil base. And so now that we know that squalane is a lipid, what does this lipid do? Well, if you're oily, it can help balance your skin because it tells your skin to calm down on the oil production because it's giving your skin squalane that your skin registers as oil, and it can also help to fortify your skin barrier. So if you're dry, you probably lack oils, and squalane is a great thing, especially in a cleanser, because it won't strip the skin. It also helps moisturize, and it helps with anti-aging because it really helps keep the skin very hydrated, very balanced. So it's a great ingredient across of any single skin type. Anybody could use squalane in their skincare, and it's usually not a pore clogging ingredient because, again, it's something that really mimics our skin's natural oils. That being said, squalane doesn't have the same amount of peer-backed research as, say, a vitamin C, a retinol, or a hyaluronic acid. Still, I always like to say just because something doesn't have the studies yet doesn't mean that it won't in the future, and it doesn't mean that it's not useful. There are plenty of people who have used ingredients that don't have a lot of case studies on them that have reported incredible results. So like I said, you know, do what is best for you. Some of the studies are there, and so to me, that's enough. Now let's talk about application and consistency of this cleanser. So this cleanser is clear. It kind of looks like a moisturizer when you squeeze it out of the tube. I love that it has tube packaging because it's going to be really hygienic. It's not going to get any germs or dirt trapped in here, and it's easy to travel with. It also kind of looks like a moisturizer when you first squeeze it out of the tube, but then upon rubbing it onto your skin, it kind of breaks down and becomes very oily. It also emulsifies super easily. So the way you want to apply this is to apply it on dry skin, all over the face, and then you're going to add some water, and it's going to emulsify very, very easily. This is pH balanced, it's vegan, it's cruelty-free, it's gluten-free, and it's nut-free, soap-free, oil-free, silicone-free, and fragrance-free. So it's truly one of a kind in terms of how gentle it is. I truly recommend this, especially if you have a lot of skin issues going on and you just want to kind of start at a baseline routine. This would be an excellent cleanser to pick up. Now here was my experience with the cleanser. Although I found it to be incredibly gentle and it left my skin feeling really soft and hydrated and really almost like it was really taken care of. It never felt stripped or tight or dry. My problem with it is that unfortunately it did sting my eyes. I do have sensitive eyes though, so I feel like if you don't have sensitive eyes, it might work out better for you. And you know, I'm a lazy girl, and when I go in with an oily cleanser, I want it to take off everything. I don't want to have to go in with a separate eye makeup remover. That being said, it really did take off everything, including waterproof makeup, no problem, and it emulsified really easily. It did not take a lot of work to wash off. I don't know if I would repurchase it just based off of that experience, but I find that it is so gentle on the rest of my face that I might opt for a smaller size next time that I can keep in my collection as kind of an emergency stash. That way, if my skin is freaking out, I really can count on a cleanser like this that won't strip my skin, is pH balanced, and will really calm things down. So that is kind of where I lie on it. I'm kind of split 50-50. So overall, I would probably rate this product a 7 out of 10 just based on my own experience. Hyaluronic acid is actually a sugar, and it's naturally occurring in the skin, and it keeps the skin very, very hydrated, and it prevents the skin from losing water. This kind of depletes after the age of 26, which is why it's so important to add it into your skincare, especially as just a base. It holds its weight 1,000 times in water, and what it does is it essentially pulls water from the environment and it kind of sucks it to your skin, and it prevents your skin from losing water throughout the day. So what kind of skin type can benefit from hyaluronic acid? Any skin type. Adding an ingredient like this into your skin is going to essentially make sure that it stays hydrated, and so that will really help with a lot of skin conditions. Believe it or not, appearance of pores, fine lines, that can all be due to dehydration, and that's kind of the first step that I steer my clients to, or that I used to when I worked at Sephora, when they experienced issues like texture, dryness, wrinkles that they thought were wrinkles, but they were kind of young, so they were most likely dehydration lines, or a larger appearance of pores. I would always steer them towards a watery, hydrating humectant, and it was amazing the kinds of results that just adding something like that into the routine did for the skin. So I'm a big believer in hyaluronic acid. Now, something to keep in mind is that you want to take the hyaluronic acid and put it onto damp skin because it will penetrate deeper and work way better. And then you want to seal it with a moisturizer, and that keeps all of the goodies in. If you are in a drier climate and you don't seal your hyaluronic acid serum with a moisturizer, you could risk the opposite effect happening, where the hyaluronic acid takes water from your skin and pushes it into the air, which we don't want. So correct application is key. But I like hyaluronic acid because it's really lightweight, so it's not going to cause irritation. It's not like an active that's exfoliating or changing anything. It's really lightweight, so it's not going to give you milia if you put it around your eyes. I personally have a good time putting hyaluronic acid or a water-based moisturizer under my eyes, on my eyelids, in my smile lines, and on my lips, and I find it to be an excellent source of plumping and hydration. So where does hyaluronic acid belong in your routine? It belongs after you cleanse, or maybe also tone. If you don't tone, that's fine, and your skin is a little damp. That's when you would go in and put on your hyaluronic acid, and then you would follow with the rest of your routine. That being said, The Ordinary's Marine Hyaluronics is a different kind of hyaluronic serum. It's not a hyaluronic acid serum. It is actually marine algae and other marine water ingredients that mimic hyaluronic acid. And this is a great alternative because essentially it's supposed to do the same thing, but it's not hyaluronic acid. Drink every time I say hyaluronic acid. Wow, sorry. It's very lightweight, and I really appreciated that because I tried the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid plus B5 serum and I found it really, really sticky, and I didn't like that at all. So I really preferred this one because it's so lightweight, it almost feels like water, but then once you blend it in and apply it to the skin, it feels very moisturizing, and it's so lightweight that you can layer it underneath several products and it won't feel heavy. And I know that that would be really beneficial for someone who's oily or someone who just doesn't like the feeling of a lot of heavy products on the skin. So I think this would be a great option. I had a really good time with this one personally. If you don't like a very liquidy texture, you're not gonna like this because it really truly does behave like water. And so you almost have to use it kind of like an essence, I would say. But I, for one, really liked this. This one gets a 10 out of 10 for me. All right, so acids. Let's talk about them. This serum is quite potent. It's one of the most potent acid serums on the market. It's truly a peel that you can get that's over the counter. And it is a blend of lactic, glycolic, salicylic, tartaric, and citric acid. That is a lot of different kind of acids mixed together. But it's also formulated really intelligently because The Ordinary actually added hyaluronic acid, which we've talked about, vitamin B5 or panthenol, and Tasmanian pepperberry, which is what gives it its blood red color, and that is an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant ingredient, which really helps in wound healing. So all those ingredients together, you get a really potent serum and then some anti-inflammatory ingredients to really help kind of minimize irritation that you would get. So what do acids do? Acids exfoliate the skin. AHAs and BHAs are very different. AHAs, they exfoliate the top layer of skin, and so they're great for someone who has dry patches, for example, because they'll slough those right off for you. And then BHA is really great for someone with acneic skin because it goes deeper into the pore and cleans it out. This being a blend, it kind of tackles all of those different things. It can help you with texture. If you use it correctly, it can even help fade acne scars, dark spots, pigmentation, and acne. And it can also help minimize the appearance of pores and help with blackheads. So it really is a great ingredient. Now, you don't need to do an intense peel like this if you're a beginner, but it might be really nice to opt for a peel like this if you're kind of lazy and you don't want to do a long routine all the time. You just rather keep your routine really simple, and then once a week or once every 2 weeks, you just blast your skin with a shot of a peel, and that might be really nice for you. So this serum is applied on bone dry skin. I cannot stress that enough. I've seen so many people apply this product so unsafely, and I can't stress that enough that it will cause permanent damage in some cases and permanent scarring if you mess around with a product like this one. So please apply it correctly. You also don't want to apply this if you have broken skin. So I've seen some people on TikTok just go in with a derma roller, which is really pricking their skin open. I'm horrified. That could cause some permanent scarring, so you want to be very careful. And you should not apply it on acne that you've picked as well, for example. You also want to make sure that if you have any secondary skincare condition like eczema or dermatitis or rosacea, that you do a really small patch test or even consult with a dermatologist or an esthetician before going in with such a heavy duty product. There are other acids on the market that are much less intense that you can kind of start out before going for something like this. I know it's very satisfying to see the TikToks and the before and afters, but this is a very intense product, and so if you don't know how to use it, it's probably best to not use it. Or to learn and really go slow. You also don't want to be using any other actives on the same night and probably morning that you've used this. You really want to keep your routine very gentle and hydrating after going in with a product like this one. So how you would apply this correctly is you would apply it once a week, twice a week max. And I really mean twice a week if you have oilier skin that's maybe thicker and more resilient and you've really honed in your routine. So this one's designed to be applied in a thin layer over the face, and you can leave it on for up to 10 minutes and then you completely wash it off with cold water. I left it on for about 5 minutes. I did a patch test first because, as you guys know, I'm very sensitive, and I had a really good experience. It did not irritate. Now, tingling upon application is very normal with a serum like this one because it is a peel, but anything that goes and escalates from tingling to burning really means that you want to wash that off immediately. I personally had a really good experience. I enjoyed it a lot. I followed up with a really good sunscreen, which I do anyway every day, but when you're using something like this, sunscreen is a must. And my skin was even and smooth and soft, and it really helped with texture. So personally for me, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. only because I think it won't work for everyone and because I think it's very iffy. If you don't know what you're doing, you can really hurt yourself. And so for me, I would rate this an 8 out of 10 and I would repurchase it. Next, let's talk about oils. So oils are an amazing way to nourish your skin, and there are a lot of them on the market, which can make things very confusing because each oil does something a little different. So the quality of an oil depends on how it's been harvested, if it's cold pressed or not, if it's organic, and what the concentration is. Personally, I really enjoy them, but they're not for everybody. So that's something to take into account. What's really bugged me about oils on the market lately is that a lot of brands really jack up the prices for this. And it's not that expensive to create a good quality oil. Another thing that they'll do is they'll add a lot of essential oils into the formula just for some really nice aromatherapy benefits. But I don't really like essential oils. They're not good for the skin. They don't do anything to help the skin. In fact, they can cause photoaging and sensitivity and irritation. Now, I don't mind if there's an oil serum that's a blend of really good oils, and then at the very end of the ingredient list, it has a few essential oils. That to me is okay if you're not sensitive skin type. However, if it's at the top of the list, I really would say avoid it at all costs. It's just not going to be worth it. It can really cause a variety of problems, and I will link some articles down below of research that really suggests that that is not the best move for the skin. The reason I love rosehip seed oil is because it's really great for a lot of different skin types. It's a very lightweight oil. So there are lightweight oils and then really heavy oils. The Josie Maran Argan Oil, for example, is an example of a very heavy, rich oil. You're gonna feel it on the skin. It would be best for someone with dry skin. This is more of a lightweight, yellow-looking oil. It almost feels like a dry oil. It blends right in, and so it would be good for any skin type. The reason I love rosehip seed oil is because it contains vitamin C, a bunch of antioxidants, actually vitamins A, B, C, D, and E. It contains omega fatty acids 3, 6, and 9, and it's just a really fantastic oil for many different skin issues. It helps with brightening. It actually helps fade dark spots and hyperpigmentation. And so that is really awesome. And then it containing those fatty acids and vitamins makes it also a really powerful anti-aging oil. So the way you want to apply an oil is you want to take a couple of drops, 2 to 4 drops in between your fingers, rub your fingers together to activate the oil and add heat to it, and then press it into the skin. And it's going to be the last step of your skincare routine. You can either mix it in with your moisturizer or you can put it on top. But I've seen some people apply it incorrectly, and it's not going to hurt your skin, but you're just not going to get all of the benefits. I've seen some people apply an oil before a water-based moisturizer, and that's not going to really work for you because you're going to get the oil to penetrate and then your water-based moisturizer is just gonna sit on top. I would really use this as the last step, or if you have an oil-based moisturizer, you can just add a couple drops. I also like adding a couple of drops of oil, especially a lightweight oil like this, into a foundation if I'm drier. You've seen that in my dry skin routine and I love it. It's one of my favorite makeup hacks. I personally had a really good experience with this oil. I love how affordable it is. My only con is that it's just rosehip seed oil. So on one hand, that's great because if you have any irritation, you know that it's the rosehip seed oil. But on the other, it doesn't contain any kind of preservative or stabilizing ingredient. So it can go rancid more quickly and that can really irritate the skin. So you want to keep your eye out for any changes in texture or smell, and you want to store it in a cold, dark place, and you want to use it up between 6 months and a year. It's incredibly affordable and is high quality. But because it doesn't have any stabilizing ingredients, I would rate this a 9 out of 10. Next, let's talk retinol. So retinol is vitamin A, and vitamin A works by increasing cell turnover in the skin. And our skin naturally turns over and exfoliates itself, regenerates new cells, and that all slows down after the age of 25, which is why vitamin A is such a gold standard ingredient. And vitamin A really also helps add blood flow to the skin, and it really helps with a major amount of skin conditions, anything from acne acne, to texture, to wrinkles, to scars. It's truly an amazing ingredient. It's one of the #1 acne and anti-aging ingredients on the market, and it's really, really special. And recently, there have been so many brands that have come out with a bunch of different kinds of retinol, which gives us a lot of options as consumers. I'm going to put a chart right here of all the different kinds, and the closer a retinol is to converting to vitamin A, and the less steps that your skin has to do to convert the retinol to vitamin A, then the stronger it is. So I was really curious to test out this one by The Ordinary, which is the Granactive Retinoid 2% emulsion, because it contains retinoid esters, which are going to be much more gentle on the skin because they require a few different conversion steps for your skin to do before it becomes vitamin A. And so it can really help decrease any irritation and dryness, which can happen when you use a retinol. So even though retinol is an amazing ingredient, you have to use it carefully. Again, you have to apply it on dry skin, only at night, add a good sunscreen, and even then it can cause a little bit of irritation, dryness, and redness. So I was kind of nervous just because I do have dermatitis-prone skin, and so even though retinol is awesome, it hasn't always worked out for me, but this serum by The Ordinary has been really incredible. It's actually one of my favorite retinols that I've ever tried. I think this would be really appropriate for someone who's new to retinol, or for someone who has really sensitive skin, because it gave me the results I was looking for after I was using it 2 to 3 times a week without any kind of bad side effect. I didn't feel like my skin got drier, and my skin felt smooth and it looked amazing. Just want to point out here that you could never ever use those together, and in fact, if you're sensitive, I would never use the retinol with the BHA AHA Peeling Solution on the same week. So I use this guy 2 to 3 times a week, and then on the week that I don't use it, I bring in this one. And it's been working really, really well for me. I've loved it. It has a very light texture. It's kind of milky in feel. It feels really lightweight on the skin. And I would put this after my hydrating steps in my routine. So I would go in with a cleanser, with the Squalane Cleanser, and then I would follow it up with the Marine Hyaluronics. And then once my skin completely dried, I added the retinol emulsion. And I had a great time with it. I think this is an awesome product. Obviously, if you're used to retinols, it's not going to be as strong as other retinol products on the market. But if you're new to retinols and you want to help with any of the issues that I listed, then I highly recommend it. And it gets a 10 out of 10 for me. All right, you guys, I hope that this was helpful. I know it was a long one, so thank you for bearing with me. I hope it wasn't too ordinary for you. But I hope that this was helpful. I am not a dermatologist or an esthetician, but I was a skincare specialist in my last job, and I don't know if I love calling myself a specialist because I feel like I'm a forever skincare learner, but I did a lot of research on these products before I purchased them, and I'm quite familiar with these ingredients, so I hope that this was helpful in terms of breaking down what these products can do. If you have any questions about a product, please drop it down below and let us know what your favorite Ordinary product is. I love learning from each other in the comments, and I definitely want to be picking up more products from Deciem as they are an incredible line. And if you'd like me to review a different product from Deciem, please let me know and I will do that for you. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Wishing you health and wealth as always, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!